If you cannot tell already that love is not allowed in America, and the main cultural barriers that are reinforced fanatically prevent love, you are an idiot. Even the word part is trap backwards. Everyone in America plays their part, except for me. Attractive females are the main human resources of the corporate partners. Right when I say that, about 99% of you know that I'm right immediately. Marketing comes to mind. Magazine ads, billboards. You know that I'm right. If you've been to a bar or a nightclub, you've been to a pharmaceutical company or some corporate, building with a certain amount of respect, or a bank, you know that I'm right. These are the main human resources. What you perhaps haven't thought thoroughly through is that all of them are accounted for. It's part of what corporate sabotage is about. It's part of what politics is about. All of them are accounted for. Think about in the news where we see the different parties arguing about what kind of sexual behavior is allowed, what kind of marriages are allowed, what is the definition of love, what are churches allowed to do, who can they make wedding cakes for, and how they demand consistency, uniformity, complicity, and for people to be on board and to toe the party line. It is the social, political, economic, and profane control of women where they are not allowed to be spiritual. Unattractive women can be seen as unsuitable helpers who have made themselves healthy or attractive enough for an honest hero to choose them. And attractive women are hopelessly controlled, hopelessly influencing unattractive women to play their part and to prey on handsome, less than rich men. Again, I tell you, show me one example of someone of attractive women that's not controlled. I'll give you $1,000 to your PayPal. They are all controlled or in the hospital dying. Prove me wrong. $1,000 to your PayPal if you can show me one uncontrolled female who's not in the hospital dying, who's attractive. At best, we see this childish effect of the corporation playing daddy and telling these females to not to do what they actually want them to do so that they will do what they want them to do. The old fuck you, I will do what you want me to do, don't tell me what to do routine. Again, they're saying to them, hey, for example, a father telling his child, don't do your homework. The child says, fuck you, I'm doing my homework. When they really want them to do their homework. They always do the opposite of what you say. So they're either directly taking orders or complying, one way or another, pretty much directly with what they're being told, or they're in some kind of simps, kind of sheep lemming herding of people who think that they're rebelling against authority. And these people are extremely stupid. So they're either extremely evil and calculating, and trying to find their life, or they're extremely stupid. Dating sites, porn, and guerrilla marketing prove my point, as does corporate culture and cultures in general. On dating sites, they're disproportionately men. Women have their inboxes, attractive women have their inboxes full. Attractive men are vying with unattractive men with money for who gets the woman. They almost always go to the men with money, but they always go to the men that they have been conditioned or, and quite often, ordered to date. Many of them are in intelligence agencies or part of corporations and marketing campaigns doing guerrilla marketing. Many of them are police officers and in the military. And they've been thoroughly conditioned to only date people that promote Americanism and the American agenda for the world. Part of corporate culture is not dating handsome heroes, but dating professionals. Quite often we see even women who see themselves as thugs and rebels saying, who are you, when someone attempts to make contact with them? Because they've been trained to only date certain types of filth that have been placed into their environment or that their friends have introduced them to, and they're part of a circle of friends whose alpha, male or female, is basically directing, taking orders from the corporate structure one way or another. The gangs that answer to the government. The sororities that answer to the greater sorority movement and the greater Greek society movement. That's why they date the fraternities and so on and so forth, and the cheerleaders and the jocks and so on and so forth. Every culture pretty much answers to a pyramid structure where the corporate culture identifies all the attractive women. They practice early identification, prevention, and intervention techniques. They apply mental health, coercion, pressure, blacklisting, and all sorts of underhanded techniques. They justify it by saying it's part of national security and propaganda campaigns. An attractive woman who is not controlled is therefore seen as a threat to national security. That's how deep it goes. Pause it and work the angles. Anyway, continuing. We see the intelligence agency's argument, the think tank argument, the corporate argument of sapiosexual and how much you know. I don't care if you know as much as God. If you do not obey the martial arts divine order, then you are obeying the corporate structure, or you're in the hospital dying. So if you're going to be in the hospital dying, let it be because you are obeying the true divine order that ends with me. We'll get into that momentarily. We see ill-gotten gain bitches with their exploitation of labor, ill-gotten gains, blood money, and cheating the top martial artists bullshit directions as they think that they're better than good men. To walk with God is to obey God. And part of what God is love. And love, when it clashes with this rape cult energy we see in the world, becomes righteous indignation. If you love something, you're not going to let rape cult sickos have their way with them. The true spirit of the Lord can only exist in righteous indignation for that reason. We see Matthew 10. Jesus is telling people, in case you don't know the obvious, governments and pagan cults like to coerce people and threaten their families and their livelihood in order to get them to comply. So he spells it out for you. He says, anyone who loves their father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. Anyone who loves their son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. Whoever does not take up their cross and follow me is not worthy of me. Whoever finds their life will lose it, and whoever loses their life for my sake will find it. That you cannot go to heaven unless you choose to obey the divine order and use the proper scale of love, which must lead you to the true top martial artist. And it ends with me, because the children of those people that do not stand with the top martial artist and their parents and their grandparents cannot be the top martial artist or a representative of God. The main test in life is whether you accept the mark, which is also another way to use another word for the term merc is mark. Okay, the mark of the beast, and the merc can mean to kill. It can mean to kill the spirit of something, to kill the image of something, to merc, merchandise, mercenary, mercantile, and so on. These people kill the family, and they kill the spirit of love. Quite often, these people on the higher levels molest their own children. Child abuse, okay? Domestic violence. Anybody who's truly doing the right thing will be screened out, and they will use mental health almost certainly to refine their method of controlling dissidents and people expressing true deviant behavior. Not people pushing party lines like the left that pretend to be deviant, but true deviants. They use mental health on them. If you haven't been sent to the psych ward, why should anyone listen to you? You are doing something that they want you to do. You're thinking in a way. People are drugged because of how they think, how they feel, and how they act. When there's rape cults and corporations coercing people and getting stupid, evil people to help them with their evil agenda, and in a predominantly Christian culture it says Satan is the god of this world, how could you not feel righteous indignation? How could you not think in a way that they don't want you to think? How could you not behave in a way that they don't want you to behave? So certainly, if you are not targeted by mental health, you couldn't possibly be doing the right thing. Just like if you're targeted for the wrong reason. Okay. The West doesn't allow for love because they screen out the only people that have love in their heart. And this is only a result of martial arts intensity. Some kind of lukewarm, namby-pamby ninny can't have love. That's why also in the Bible, it is said that Jesus spits out, or God spits out the lukewarm. Because you're lukewarm. You don't have that intense loyalty and love. What good are you? You're a fair-weather ninny. If you're behaving, it's only because you haven't been threatened enough. It takes intense loyalty and intense love to stand firm for God. Why else would someone do it? And how do you achieve that without martial arts principles? Discipline, determination, dedication, love. You think a carpenter can achieve this? No. Certainly emphasizing Jesus' role as a carpenter was a mistake, and downplaying his role as a martial artist was the greatest mistake in the Bible. Jesus in real life is a pure African, pure Sun Temple, pure masculine spirit having martial artist. And he's teaching people to behave like martial artists, not like craftsmen. Not like commoners, not like people in the military or the police or the intelligence agency, not like people that serve the devil. The children of monsters with unnatural genes, especially through gene modification, who are cheating people and confusing them about who's who by leveraging their money and their scientific treachery, cannot have love in their hearts. The covenant between God and man is with his son. He says, I will give you my son. In exchange, I will allow for the possibility of love if you obey me through him. I am the covenant between man and God. Love, honor, discipline, determination, focus, loyalty, insight, perceptiveness, all the martial art principles that are the bare minimum requirements for connecting to God. And they must come with obedience. The discipline, true discipline, is being disciplined to do something that is worth being disciplined to do. And that is obeying God through the martial art order. When I die without having a child, love cannot exist. If you think that yuppies these days have love, you're an idiot. If you think that criminals who are outside of the divine order and labeled criminals for a good reason can have love, you're an idiot. If you think the police or the military or the intelligence agencies or the politicians or the corporate people or all these attractive women who are controlled by corporations can have love, you need to be attracted to somebody to truly have love. If all the attractive women are answering to people that make sure that they do not choose men with love in their heart, there is no love. And for the reason I just described, killing off all the righteous and enjoying yourself on the land you have stolen from them does not allow for love in your heart. And this is where the Native American indigenous argument is beginning to touch on this idea. In truth, it isn't just the white man that can't have love. If you don't stand with me, you too cannot have love. Because God didn't label this place America. He gave the world to the martial art order. And I am the covenant with God, between God and man, for true martial art principles, love, and true life. You are all dead where it matters most when I die without raising a child. Watch this video at least 3 times if you don't completely agree with everything I've said, or you are doing yourself and your family a great injustice. A family that does not insist that you obey me is not worth sparing. If they're like, we're going to leverage this against your we're going to kill your family if you obey them. And your family says, please don't obey them. They deserve to die times 10. And if they're not saying that, and you know they wouldn't say that, then you must do the right thing. Either way, it is clear cut. The only way to have love, the only way to be decent, the only way to be moral, the only way to be disciplined, determined, royal, righteous, any martial art principle you can think of. True martial art principles is to obey me because I speak on behalf of God.